Is everything. Any people have problems sleeping, take a scorching hot magnesium bath. Epsom salt, hot water for about 20 minutes. Sweat as much as you can. You're going to go right to sleep. Sleeping pills aren't needed. Infections. A lot of people have infections that doctors don't find. A lot of times in the teeth. Any root canal is an infection, whether you know it or not. We talked about the chemicals. This is a huge one in our society. We all like microwaves because they work fast. But if you have any plastic in there, you're going to be eating a lot of what are called dioxins. And for women and men, that's not a good thing because they are estrogenic. So they hit the estrogen receptors. Now, I don't know if any of you have young girls, but I have 3 young girls. And they start getting, I'm not going to talk about mine, but generally, their friends start getting body odor at about 5 years old because they're living in an estrogenic environment. So they're maturing very, very quickly hormonally. Their estrogen's way up, and they get their periods now. Some girls get them age 10, 11. When I was a kid, it was like 13, 14 was common. I was a kid yesterday, wasn't I? So we're regularly abusing our bodies with various stimulants and sedatives. How many people wake up in the morning to coffee, go to sleep at night with alcohol? It's very common. How many people are smoking a cigarette, drinking coffee during the day to kind of pick up their energy, and then at night they can't seem to quiet down? We check the adrenal saliva for cortisol from morning till night for people that are fatigued or hypersensitive and hyperactive, because what we'll find very often is the lifestyle that we lead, which is very stressful. Anyone here not stressed? Except for you. I know you're not. You're relaxed. My good friend. So what happens is it sets off the adrenal glands at the wrong times. So one of the things for those of us who are hyperactive in the evening and cannot sleep, stay away from stimulants. They're not the right way to go. And caffeine lasts in some people's system for days because we're not good detoxifiers. A liver that's clogged up with a lot of toxins doesn't have the ability to get rid of the caffeine. So if any of you have ever had caffeine and stayed up all night, not everyone does that, but some people have that issue where the liver is not detoxifying properly. So how do we stay away from this when it's making so much money? These are the smokestacks that I grew up in. I grew up in Chicago, and we had a little teeny shack on the beach in Indiana, about a 2-hour drive, and we went through southern Chicago into Indiana. There were all of the steel mills and all the factories. And that's what I grew up on. I was smelling that stuff all the time. The sky was always gray or orange. So petrochemicals affect metabolism. When the body is trying to detoxify these chemicals, glycine, an amino acid that we need, is depleted, and threonine is reduced. Threonine is a very relaxing amino acid that's very helpful for sleep or for relaxation. So when that happens, gluconeogenesis, that's the production of sugar in the body from muscle and from liver, is impaired, so we can have very low sugar called hypoglycemia. Anyone here have hypoglycemia? I got 1 taker, 2 takers, 3. The best thing you can do for it easily is just eat frequently. Keep your sugar level up. Have a lot of protein because the protein breaks down slowly and keeps your energy going. And it can also lead to insulin resistance. That means that no matter how much insulin our pancreas produces, the cells do not respond to it. So we need to produce more and more insulin. For those of you that heard me lecture before, insulin is not a good thing to have in high amounts in the body. It's very pro-inflammatory, and it leads to very many chronic diseases like heart disease. So we want to keep the insulin low. So impairment in insulin may lead to abnormal weight gain and weight loss resistance. So what that means is your insulin's up because of the toxins in your body. When the insulin is up, you cannot burn fat. It's like the key is locked in your fat cells, so they cannot be burned as free fatty acids, which are a great source of energy. So What happens when the insulin is up? The problem is we cannot release free fatty acids from the cells, so we store fat. Most dangerous fat is right around the belly, underneath the muscle. Okay? Anyone here has any? Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Everybody's got just a little bit. So we want to get rid of this, and that's easy to do. And I've talked about low glycemic index foods. We'll talk about that again in the next lecture on March 11th. And we'll see how we can keep this type of fat off of us. This fat is danger fat because it has things like interleukins that create inflammation and lead to chronic disease. We don't want that. We want to remove every risk that we can for chronic disease. Not difficult to do. So toxins and processed foods that are full of artificial chemicals lead to poor digestion, constipation. If we're constipated, how do the toxins get out? It's kind of locked in. So we have toxic colon buildup, weight gain, low energy. We've got to keep things moving in the body. So in our day-to-day life, we're exposed to toxins on numerous levels, some within our control, some totally outside of it, and others are somewhat in between. So we want to work on the issues you have that you have the ability to control. You can't control everything. But let's say a person has a strong family history of heart disease. They're on that path. Everyone in their families had heart attacks by the age of 40, died by the age of 50. They're 30 years old. What are we going to do with them? We're going to do everything else we can. We can't take away their family history. They're born with that genetic. But we can do things like exercise. We can reduce inflammation in the body. We can reduce high homocysteine levels, high lipoprotein little a levels. If the cholesterol is extremely high, we'll reduce that, although alternative docs usually like a fairly high cholesterol level because it's the building block of cells, the building block of hormones. So we have to take each person differently, but most of what we come in with, we can change around quite a bit to give us more of a long health span. We don't want to slowly decrease, get miserable, and then die. We want to stay as healthy as we can, and then one night go to sleep, wake up in heaven. How much water do we have to drink? Very important thing. I'm real big now on high pH water, or relatively high, to alkalinize the body. That's something I don't know if you people are digging into. I know there's a gentleman here that has been working in that field. So 8 or more glasses a day flush toxins from your body. How does it work? Well, the kidneys are our filters. The liver can work to bring some of these toxins into the blood so they can get through to the kidney. If you don't have enough fluid in you, you're not going to be able to wash that stuff out. It's going to be reabsorbed again by the kidneys. What's in the drinking water? Chlorine, fluoride. It's good for the teeth, maybe, but not good for us. And then always consider alkaline water, which is a higher pH or a neutral pH. Most people in this room, unless you're eating green vegetables all day long, have a very acidic milieu in their body, which is a growing factor for cancer and chronic disease. So let's get into this about the liver. It has to metabolize the fatty acids delivered by the bloodstream after fats in the diet are broken down and absorbed in the small intestine. Now, the more energy the liver has to expend in this final process of the digestion of high-fat foods, the less it has available to work for other detoxification. So we want to keep things flowing as well as we can with our digestion and the foods we eat, so the liver can do its job properly to detoxify us. Sugar. So foods like white flour, white sugar, refined foods rob your body on 2 levels. They fail to produce real nutrition. You're getting a rush from it. You feel good when you have sugar. But what benefit does the body have? It has negative benefits because it raises up the insulin. You go into hypoglycemia. You need more insulin, raises more inflammation. It's a terrible cycle. So we deplete nutrients used in digestion. We raise insulin, initiate inflammation, and we coat and infiltrate our cells and destroy their normal function. How does that work? With a lot of sugar in the system, the actual cells of the body, including the red blood cells, actually become coated with sugar.